Charles Duncan Waterman learned at an early age that the wealthy clients who had their clothing tailored by his father Vernon back in Barbados all had one thing in common. They were landowners, whether it was sugarcane plantations or commercial buildings in the city of Bridgetown. Their wealth could be traced back to their real estate holdings. Charles has used their example to teach his clients how to acquire real property and create a foundation of wealth. As a realtor and real estate investor, Charles has developed the skill of sourcing the best real estate opportunities and implement strategic methods resulting in above-average returns on capital. Charles continues to execute strategies ranging from wholesaling, fix and flip, or buy and hold. Establishing wealth using real estate will continue to be one of the fundamental areas of affluence for this generation and many to come. Please join me in welcoming Charles Duncan Waterman. Welcome.
I am very excited to be here tonight. I'm going to tell you, first of all, I am surrounded by some of the things that I love the most. Sugarcane and rum, okay? Sugarcane and rum. And as he said, I'm from Barbados, and one of the things that I remember growing up in Barbados is the fact that the wealthiest people did own the land. And on the land, they grew sugarcane. And from the sugarcane, rum was created, and from that rum, sugar was created, and wealth ultimately was created. So I asked my dad one day, I came home from school. My dad was a tailor. He made these suits. He'd be so picky if he were to see this suit. I came home from school one day. I was about maybe 9 or 10 years old. And I turned around the corner from the field and looked over to my house where my dad would work as a tailor. And I saw this huge car parked in front of our house. As I got closer, I read on the side of the car, Cadillac, Sedan DeVille. And you know what a Cadillac Seville DeVille looks like. Those things are like this wide, right? But also, you got to know how big the houses in Barbados are like. They're about the size of the table. So the house, the car was pretty much the same size as the house. So the last time a Cadillac was parked in front of my house, it was not for good reasons. A Cadillac signifies death. Cadillacs are owned by the funeral parlors in Barbados, the funeral directories, because all the hearses are Cadillacs and all the limousines that the funeral homes use are Cadillacs, right? So I came up and I saw this Cadillac in front of the house, and I'm thinking, it's not a good day. But I got there and I saw my dad was just fussing around this tall, good-looking white man. I said, oh, wow, what's this about? So the man had come to get his suits made for my father. So when he left, I said, Dad, what's with the car? What's with this guy? Who is this dude? He said, Charlie boy, that man owns all that land you see up there. It's called Francia Plantation in St. George, right? A huge plantation, a lot of mahogany trees and all that. All that land, he's the owner of all that land. I said, wow, so you got to own land in order to get a car like that? So he said, well, sort of, but in order to create wealth, in order to be rich and to be able to afford my suits, you've got to have some money. And in his case, he got his money from land, right? So I said, wow, that kind of stayed with me over the years, and I never really thought about the significance of land ownership, right? Fast forward now to moving to Canada. Back in the 80s, we found this house for like $160,000. Now, back in the 80s, also, the interest rates were slightly higher, more like 18% or something ridiculous like that. But, $168,000 was the price of that house. 10 years later, that house was sold for $600,000. $600,000. So do the math. Still didn't click. We were paying agents to sell our real estate all along. This guy, I would look and see what this guy got. He got $45,000 here. Another guy got $42,000, $50,000 from all the commission that they use to sell real estate that I owned. So I said, well, that doesn't make sense. Why don't I just become a realtor? So guess what? You're looking at it. That's what I did. So now I'm a realtor. But then one of the things that stayed with me is that you use the funds that you have accumulated in real estate or in all your business really, but use this money, save it, and wait for an opportunity to find product, real estate, at below market value and purchase it. Now, part of the introduction was the perfect home. What would you say the perfect home is? And people would think the perfect home would be a great 4-bedroom house overlooking the lake or a nice condo. But now, over the years, I've established the criteria for a perfect home. And my criteria might be different to yours, but that's something that you definitely need to do, establish the criteria. And to me, the criteria for a perfect home is a home that, first of all, I pay little or no money down to acquire it, a home that someone else will pay for in the form of a tenant, and a home that over time the value will certainly go up and you appreciate. So and of course bringing you cash flow every month. So you want to find homes that you don't fall in love with the home, you fall in love with the potential of the purchase. So now you've moved from becoming just your typical homeowner to an investor. So that's really what I would like to speak about tonight, is about being a real estate investor. As a real estate investor, there are three main things that we need to look at. First of all is the criteria of the property. So we need to find out what is the criteria that you're looking for. What are you looking for in a property? And you establish those criteria. Some are similar to what I spoke about just now. Then secondly are the terms. So you want to make sure that whatever criteria, once that property that you have found matches the criteria, then you know you need to establish the terms. So you either establish the terms with the seller, whether he's going to support you in the financing of it, or if you have your network set up whereby you can get a mortgage on it and as a result afford it. Of course, then you need to find your own network of people, whether it be a mortgage agent, lawyer, a contractor. Sometimes a lot of these homes, maybe they need to be refurbished and brought up to living standards. And of course, you need to find a good agent now who will get you the best tenant for these properties. So essentially, you're looking at three main issues for a property that will, first of all, generate cash flow, of course, increase in value, appreciate in value, right? Those are the things that you want to find in an investment property. There is no better time to invest in real estate, let me tell you, than right now. I mean, it was like the same way last year also, but right now is the time, right? Because what it is that so many areas of the city, and not necessarily just the Toronto core, but I'm looking east now. East being Durham region. The Durham region, I don't know if you guys got an opportunity to travel along the Durham region, but the 407, you know the 407, the 407 is being connected to the 401 just east of Ajax. So now, all of a sudden, the property values have gone through the roof. In 2012, Ajax used to be I would say the most reasonable area of the city to purchase a home, right? Home prices were, on average, $300,000. Last year, 2015, as soon as January started, the prices, like somebody set off an alarm, and all of a sudden, the prices have gone from $300,000 to $400,000. Everything has increased by $100,000 just like that last year, and it all happened overnight. And most of it could be attributed to the expansion of the 407 connecting to the 401. Not only is that, we're talking about putting in a great a casino out there right now. They've been talking about an airport forever, so maybe before I die, there would be an airport in Ajax, so then hopefully, there's another reason to go there. So we look at areas that are growing, right? And the Durham region is certainly one that is growing. So there's some great, great opportunities out there right now. You know what? I'll be delighted to sit and speak to you more about some of the areas to invest. But whatever you do, I know whether you're investing in real estate right now or in the stock market or wherever you are investing your money, make sure that you consider real estate as a component of your entire portfolio. Because let me tell you something. Over the years, we have seen real estate does not reduce in value. You know, maybe certain parts of the North American planet it does, but not in Canada. You know, would you agree? Overall, we can't say that we have seen real estate values plummeted or anything like that. It's always grown. You know, we're not talking about a get-rich-quick scheme. We're talking about buying it and hold on to it, and over time, you will see that that small investment, whether it's $10,000 or $20,000, has significantly grown over a period of time. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed my speech. And of course, if you're interested in purchasing real estate both here in Canada or in Barbados, I'll be delighted to speak to you about that also, okay? Thank you so much.
I was going to ask you, what do you do for fun, actually?
For fun?
Yeah, because you're telling us about your business. You're really focused on business and investment.
Okay. Yeah.
But what do you do for fun outside of business?
What I love to do is I love to do videos. And I love to do videos about the city and about, actually I started this video blog called Loving Ajax. And I did this really because, you know, I'll tell you why I moved to Ajax, right? But I'll tell you why I live in Ajax, right? I was living in the city here. This was my domain. But then I was single for a little bit. I met this pretty girl. She lives in Ajax. So, you know what happens. So, so now I moved to Ajax. I'm married now. So I'm living in Ajax. But man, let me tell you something. One day I got up and I just looked outside and there was snow everywhere and it was cold. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I used to live in a condo where I just go down the street, get in the car. I got to go out and spend half an hour cleaning this car, right? So I said, okay, snap out of it. You're loving Ajax. You're loving Ajax, Charles. Whether you like it or not, you're loving Ajax. So I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I created this daily video blog called Loving Ajax. So I'll be like, hi, I'm Charles Duncan Waterman from Remax Hallmark Realty, and I'm just loving Ajax.
Great.
So that's what I do for fun. In the summertime, I got some guys who get me out on the water. We got a sailboat. We go sailing and racing on Wednesdays here at Queen City, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what it is? I really don't. I don't feel comfortable saying what's the best place. I always try to look and see, you know, where are you? What position are you? What position you're at in your life or in your investment life, right? So if you say, for example, you're looking for A, B, or C criteria, right? Instead of looking for the best part, I just look for the best criteria. What fits your criteria? What matches? What terms can you get for it, right? And that really determines where. Because we could live here, and you can have a fourplex in Sault Ste. Marie, for example, that's giving you, I don't know, maybe $1,000 a month in your pocket. That's a good place to invest, right? So that's really, I look at what return am I going to get on my money where, as opposed to the geographic area of it. Give me a call. Give me a call.
There you go.
I guess one piece of advice really that I would give the first-time advisor or an investor is, you know what, make sure that this is really what you want to do and do your homework. Do your own homework, right? There is so much information out there right now. You can do your own homework for sure. There's several books that I can recommend, but do your homework so that when you do call me and I give you a spiel or I give you a story or a scenario, you can say, that sounds like something that I've heard before. This is not rocket science, right? Because a lot of things that has happened before has all happened from previous experiences, somebody else's experience. So you might as well learn from someone else's experience, right? Rather than go and try to reinvent the wheel. But I would say, get educated. Get educated, you know what I mean? It is, and I tell you why. One of the problems that I've seen in Ajax or in Durham really is that there's not a lot of industry. There's not a lot of industry at all. There used to be a lot of industry in Oshawa, but now with the plants, with the car plants and so on. But now that is kind of very, very minimal right now. So there is a bit of commercial space in the southern part, mostly warehousing and so on. So a lot of the large companies just use it for storage and stuff like that. But with the commercial, though, what you're seeing is commercial space coming into the retail sector. For example, we're Target, for example. Target came and took over a huge amount of space, and now that's empty. So if you're looking for 50,000 square feet, we can hook you up. But mostly it's residential, very, very heavily residential. You'd be surprised at the growth of the whole area, I don't know. You guys ever, I'm talking about Ajax, but you guys ever get out there at all? You guys ever get out to the East End?
Can you drive up there or you have to take a flight?
You gotta take a flight, right? It goes like, it goes like once every hour. But there are flights going out right now. The airport is not built yet, but I don't know where the hell you're gonna land, but you figure it out. But no, if you got a chance, I'm just saying, come out, check it out, because that's like the new frontier, right? The West is good. You got Brampton, you got Mississauga, Oakville, and everything. But out here now, they're in the process of building the infrastructure now to accommodate the growth, and that's really where you want to get in on, right? You want to get in there. So I would definitely explore that for sure. Well, I mean, you see me? I'm a man, I don't like to touch those kind of topics at all, right? And I'll tell you why. Because one time you'll hear that, like last week, for example, he came out, right? Didn't he come out and he just said, we're doing nothing, right? But the thing is, the economists and a lot of guys here are probably in a better position to answer that type of question to me, but, I'm just telling you what I would like to think. I would like to think that they stay like this, but you know what? As they're staying like this, there are other areas that are in danger. We're going to have problems on one side. So it might have to go up a little bit just to cool things down a little bit. But I'm not that guy, and I would rather defer you to my mortgage agent or something like that to get those type of conversations, boy, because that's the first question. When you go to meet people, the first thing they say, what do you think of interest rates? Are they going up or down? Oh, what the hell do I know? I got to tell you something. I look at that as a good opportunity, right? And people like Daniels that has transformed over here in Regent Park, right?
It's an excellent film.
Well, yeah, but wait, because what it is, they have transformed that area, and in doing so, however, has displaced a lot of the people who live there. That's a huge amount of square footage that has been now reallocated. So where do the people go, right? Where do they go? Ajax! They're probably going to Ajax, but when you think about, where do they go, right? Yeah. And sure, you can go and buy one of those beautiful townhomes for like $400,000 and $600,000, but man, what are you doing with the people? Right? You look at areas over on Weston, for example, over in Dixon Road, those big condominiums over there. You look at that, you always wonder, where is it going, right? What is happening now, though, is that whenever there is a huge development, the government is essentially forcing the developers to incorporate some element of community housing within the project, right? If you know, down here at City Place, by the way, is down by CN Tower. You know all the big buildings down there? So part of that whole City Place complex, there has to be a certain percentage of it that's allocated to Toronto housing, right? I don't know how most of the other people feel about it, but that's really what has to happen, That's really where the government is balancing off. You have to allocate some of your space for parkland and some of the space to accommodate community housing, right? So, but I know some things that breaks my heart to see that people who have lived in specific communities all their lives, right, are now having to uproot and move somewhere and start all over. Now find new places for their children to go to school and daycare and stuff like that. It's a big headache, I gotta tell you. But I tell you, this is something that is an ongoing thing, and that's really why I want to get incredibly wealthy because I really don't want to worry about making money. I want to worry about helping fix some of these problems that you're talking about right now, you know. And I think with the accumulation of wealth, we all going to be in a better position to do something about it instead of just talking about it. You know what I mean?
Good point, Charles. Good point. Good point to that.